I really hope they come back though. Like you said, I think I love Fade. I love X Nova. I think these guys are like my favorite support duo. It's a shame that it doesn't seem to be working for them. But I mean, obviously, I don't think we can take anything away from VICI. They played really well last game,
Mm.
and I think this Leshrac needs to be potentially looked at taking out the pool. I mean, they're going to ban Slardar Bloodseeker again, which is obviously two of VICI's favorite heroes to use in the offlane. But even so, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see this Lesh pick first phase by either team.
Yeah, and EHOME have first pick. So if you want to not go up against that Lash, I feel like you got to pick it first. I think it's a strong enough hero where it's earned being a first pick.
I mean, the Lena will be the one that they'll both be looking at. Mars gets banned out instead. So, oh, there you go, Rubik.
Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know if I don't know if I mean, I love Rubik, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if I have the faith in EHOME right now. That's what's really getting at me. It's like I love Rubik. I love this hero, but is that the first pick that you really want to be using? You know, is it Rubik who you want to be using that first pick on right now?
It's okay. Like, I think Rubik's just a decent hero in general. Like, it's the most picked hero in Pro Dota over all time by like quite a way. I think in Dota 2. So, like, it's not even close. I think Bat Rider was second, and yeah, that was still really far behind. I think it was Bat Rider at least. But yeah, so like you come into this game and you're like, okay, we'll just take Rubik. Like, we'll just take it for ourselves. PIW played it well last game, but we want it for ourselves. Like, Fade plays it really well. Doesn't really give anything away if we first pick it. Vici go Undying this time. All these top teams love picking this Undying, don't they? They are not afraid to play around it. I can't wait to see some new position 5s next patch, though. I really hope we get to see some different things. Because the position 5 meta at the moment is very stale. I think like this Undying, Ench. A Chen was going to be another one that we sometimes get to see, but like not massively often. But it feels like there's so many position 5s at the moment that just aren't viable.
We don't see things like Dark Willow anymore. That was a hero we used to see all the time. Pangolier is a hero that doesn't get picked much anymore, if at all.
But like in terms of 5s, it's like Shakira hardly ever gets picked up.
Yeah.
So Bane doesn't really get picked up. Grimstroke, Kotl, like Dazzle, Silencer sometimes. Like Lich we don't see anymore.
And Lich was popular for a little bit.
Like Warlock, Disruptor hardly gets picked at the moment. Like there's so many of them. And yeah, I kind of hope that gets looked at a little bit because I mean obviously it happens every patch that towards the end of the patch the 5 I think meta gets really stale, but this one in particular feels like a big kick in the teeth almost.
Yeah, for sure. Made you go to the Drow on Vici. We've seen this Drow. I really like it at times. I think it kind of has been shown to be one of Erica's best heroes.
I do think X Nova Chen's very good though as well. When he plays this, they usually get like a lot more tempo in the game with the early rotations that he makes. So I don't mind this. I think it's good. I love this PL ban. I think we saw this the other day, didn't we? From who was it? Was it from IG when they played the PL? Like up against Drow Undying, it feels so good playing that hero. You kill the tombstone really quickly. Like really good core against Drow.
Yeah.
They ban Venge. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Venge is another one of those 5s. Like we see the ban more so than we see that hero picked. If it's very situational here and there.
I'd love to know what Undying's win rate is this tournament. Actually,
this tournament.
Yeah,
I could check.
I think it can't be massively high. I don't think. PA ban as well, pretty standard. I mean, Sven's still in the pool potentially. I think for either team. Sorry, for VICI to ban or EHOME to pick.
He's the second most picked hero. He's in 8 matches, and he has a 62.5 win rate. 62.5% win rate.
Who's the most picked?
Mars.
On Mars, right? Yeah, okay, that
And
makes
he's
sense.
only got a 22% 22% win rate.
Oh, is that 2 out of 9?
Yeah,
Wow, okay,
I
that's
think the one that's least surprising is the fact that Beastmaster has a 100% win rate in 5 games in this event.
that hero's looked really good this event so far, though. But if it wins every game, then it always will, right? Like
Yeah,
Faith Beyond, I think has played it at least a couple of the times, and LGD have looked really good. So I'd love to see those stats at the end of the group stage, though, for like what the most played hero is and things. Because I think as the group stage goes on, like it's almost like a separate event to the playoffs, right? Where everybody kind of figures things out a little bit in the group stage, and they're like balancing things out against each other. And then in the playoffs, it's like everyone shows their final form almost. Okay, so they're taking their time thinking about this ban. Yeah, they go Earth Spirit. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick something like Mirana on VICI. I think POW plays it really well. We've seen it against the Chen already this tournament. Looks really good.
yeah.
I mean, Crystal Maiden is another one we've seen sometimes played against Chen, but even as a 4, but I don't think it's quite that good this game. Hmm. I could see Tusk or something as well for EHOME potentially. I
Another
like the
Centaur
Centaur
ban.
yeah. But again, it's a hero that does well against Drow Ranger. Like it's not again we've seen it banned, but the Stampede to get on top of the Drow, it works really well with Rubik. Do you remember like people used to open Rubik Centaur all the time? That's like
Yeah, well, that was
the
the
opening
lane.
too.
That was what you were looking for, is the telekinesis into the hoof stomp with the retaliate, and then just trying to do as much as you could, and maybe throw a double edge in there and get a kill.
I think it could still be pretty good with the double edge and the hoof stomp. But yeah, ever since Retaliate got changed, Centaur not quite as popular. Thank God, because that hero was crazy before actually.
Night
Oh,
Stalker again.
cool. They played it really well last game though. Like why not? Lesh is still in the
Yeah.
pool, by the way.
If the Lesh gets back around to Vici, I would be severely impressed.
Oh God, playing Beastmaster
And
against Drow and dying though.
he's
I think
5-0.
it's about the
It's
vision game as well, though, right? Like when they pick this Night Stalker, Vici have the like right approach to fights and things. With the Dark Ascension, they see everything. They've got Tombstone as well. They're going to have complete vision control. EHOME are probably like, oh God, like we should probably get some of that for ourselves. Oh, and they can
Okay.
flex this Lena to last. Wow.
I'd like to see. I don't even know if I'd like to see Leshrac for eHome. I don't know if it's going to perform that well. I don't. I think it's a situation where it's just not going to do well for that team.
It's a hard Lesh game against the Night Stalker. Like they have this high physical burst from the Drow, like a lot of burst from the Lena. Obviously, you've got Chen to help back it up, so it could have potential. I think Storm is another one here potentially. I know Night Stalker silence is a bit of a problem. Lane against Lena might be hard. But I think I'm trying to think of heroes that work well with the Chen, like recall and things in general. So Lesh is one of them.
Well, not only the Night Stalker silence if we were to pick a Storm, but like the Drow silence too. If you
True.
get caught by either of those, then that's just trouble for you. Void's still available up to this point. Lifestealer gets picked up by eHome.
It's okay. It does well against Drow if you can get on top of her. Like obviously but the problem is if you get gusted before you rage, like it's going to force you to build a Manta first. And there's nothing that you can build that helps you against the AoE silence of the Night Stalker. Like, unless you go BKB or something. But you don't really want to do that as Life Stealer. I will say, though, we've talked about this before, having this hero that can just sit in a lane and 1v1 while the Chen's able to rotate around and make things happen is really good. So, like, now the Chen can come to the Beastmaster's lane relatively early and they might be able to get a really early tower, which would help them massively, like, open up the map, play quicker. I think they have big mid-game damage problems at the moment on eHome. Like, there's no burst damage to play with. So they need to make sure they get that last.
Do you think maybe Vici go to this Leshrac?
I don't think so. I think they'll. I think they'll pick something that's a better core-to-core matchup against the Lifestealer. I think they'll put the Lina 4 and they'll pick a different mid hero here. Unless they want to pick something as a 4 that's like really good against Lifestealer. I don't know what that would be. But, Is Viper still in the pool?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? So they could go like Viper or something on VICI, potentially. With the Drow. Could be cool. But again, I don't know how good that is. EHOME, something like Kunkka might be interesting for them, I think. Gives them a bit of team fight that they're lacking.
Yeah, and some more control.
And that mid-game timing that we talked about, like they miss that mid-game damage at the moment. Razor ban. That would have been cool. Then they really would have lacked damage on EHOME.
I think. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I would have thought the Magnus there, but it certainly works.
Yeah, I don't think I would have thought of it either, but it is that team fight that they're still lacking as well. I think they'll go Kunkka. I'm trying to think of other heroes. Kunkka's the only one that really stands out to me here.
Ember?
Maybe, but it doesn't seem great.
I kind of like the Kunkka as well.
What about like Zeus? Zeus difficult against Night Stalker though as well.
They go to the Leshrac. This Leshrac though can end up being in a lot of trouble in this game.
I think you put the Lina mid now though, and you pick a different 4. Have they got any like BKB piercing 4s? What about? Oh, I don't know if they play like Enigma or something, but that would be really cool.
Well, yeah, that's a hero we don't see that much.
I think Tusk looks really good still though. I think having the save against the Beastmaster, the BKB piercing stun against the Lifestealer lanes up okay with Night Stalker.
Mm-hmm.
You could pick Phoenix and really piss off your Night Stalker as well. That would be great. Just drop egg and make it daytime. Sounds good.
Or friendly, of course.
What about like Wind Ranger or Shadow Shaman?
I know you want that Chinese Shadow Shaman.
Shadow Shaman sounds really fun, actually. Like genuinely, I know, I like that hero, but
that hero, every time we've seen it, just seems to get like beat.
Mm-hmm. What about Pudge, dude? That's got a BKB piercing disable. Hell yeah!
Why not?
Go on, VICI,
1-0 in a series. Do something a little bit different. Go a little bit crazy.
I like EHOME's draft with the Lesh now, though. I think he looks a lot
Invoker. Well, we've talked about this hero quite a bit recently and how much it's gonna bring to brings to these team fights. And they put PYW on the Lina, Eric on the Drow with Ori playing the Invoker.
So they are picking the Lina as the 4. Invoker. Interesting. I assume he'll play Quasfex at the start as well and go for this urn. But their like early game looks really strong. When this Night Stalker pops like Dark Ascension, and they have like EMP Tornado, Tombstone, like the early damage from the Lina. I think a lot of this game. Sorry? I was going to say a lot of this game comes down to like what X Nova and XM can do between them. I think like how much they link up with Chalice and stuff. But this, I think VICI just performed much better last time. So after we watched last game, I think it's really difficult to bet on EHOME winning this. Even it doesn't matter what the draft is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get struggled.
Invoker here from Ori. It's not a hero that he plays too often.
I feel like we say that every time he plays it though. Like he has
no. He played it 13 days ago, and then he played it 2 months ago, and it was during OGA. That's why I think maybe you think that. Because in the time he played before that, I think we had the same good discussion. It was TI.
Like he can play it, he just doesn't do it very often.
No, he's only played it 16 times total.
Yeah, there's so many other heroes that he's just really good on. But I'd be interested to see how much he does on this hero. We've seen some good Invoker players.
Mm-hmm.
in recent times. And like you say, I don't really class Ori as one of these like really good Invoker players, but he's such a strong laner in particular that I think it will be interesting to see what he does with his rotations and things, because he had a great game 1 as well.
Yeah.
Prepare for battle.
Especially against Lesh as well, actually. Difficult lane.
So let's see what they're able to accomplish here if EHOME can bring it back. I mean, they just lost a very quick game, so they need a bit of a confidence booster. That's for sure.
Are EHOME playing in anything else apart from OGA at the moment? Do you know? I don't think they are, right?
There's no tournaments happening right now except for OGA.
So this is like the only thing they've got going on. It does feel like, ever since that 3-0 loss they had in the final, maybe it got to them a little bit.
Yeah, because that final was quicker than most BO3s.
Because I remember casting it on your channel with you, and we were like, oh. I think I came in for game 3 or something, and I was like, oh, this is disappointing. Like game 2 and 3, I think. Yeah, that was sad. And you can't help but think that, maybe in that kind of scenario where you get beat 3-0 really quickly, you do start to doubt yourself, right? Like, do we... Which is it's a stupid thing to say because they're in the final.
The battle begins.
But yeah.
But even being in the final, like, it can be very discouraging when you lose like that.
It's been really interesting seeing all these Beastmasters go Vlad's first as well, recently, instead of like rushing the Necrobook.
Top lane Fade taking a lot of damage.
He's just chilling. Having a good time,
Doing his thing.
He's just going to try and kill the boar straight away.
And Erica, I continue to speak the same way about him every time we get to cast a VICI game, but he is really impressed me.
I want to talk about something, because Chalice is getting chased down quickly here. The Undying has an Orb of Venom. So, like, Chalice is struggling here. Jesus.
Just getting run down.
I think item builds on Undyings really make or break lanes for them. Like, I've seen some Undyings go like Orb of Venom before, and they just get absolutely destroyed because they can't like hit anybody. But this lane, it's a really good choice.
Denied.
You think he does that again when Chalice starts to settle in lane?
Oh yeah, and it's his job to run at Chalice and over again. Like, PYW is going to be really annoying, but you want to be zoning out the Beastmaster out of the two of them.
And just throwing these decays and trying to do what he can. Like, DUI, he's another one of those guys who impresses me on this VICI team. I mean, everybody does, but, like, he stands out for sure.
But do you remember, he had that period in time where he would just die first every single game, and it felt like he was playing really poor. But then, in, like, the last year or two or so, he's become so good.
DUI just has really evolved with this team, with this VICI lineup.
Beastmaster's really struggling. Chalice is destroying this lane. Sorry, Eric is destroying this lane.
But down bottom, you've got SCCC, who's 16-1. Happy with that.
I like what Lena's doing here. Like, she's technically not winning the trade against the Chen with these right clicks, but she has a salve and Chen doesn't.
Yeah.
So you're just winning the regen war effectively. it's the zappy zap creep in the bot lane. Here we go.
I guess SCCC doesn't really need Chen to be here for much longer. I don't think. It's one of those lanes that I just think that Lifestealer should be okay in. I don't think he ends up dying in this lane. And like we were talking about, we could see X Nova start to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
X Nova's going to go and try and secure the 4-minute rune here, along with the Rubik. Oh, Invoker.
Split Earth, Invoker, Ori.
Wow. Great rotation
out.
by
X
Fade.
getting the kill. Yeah. On the money with that one.
They secure the 4-minute rune as well. So, lots to play with here. But I will say this Drow is just owning right now. Like, Chalice just has not had a lane. He's just hit level 3. Undying's got about the same amount of XP as him.
Yeah.
Drow's just got 14 denies now. Oh, this is...
Not going well for this Beastmaster at all. Probably one of the worst starts for a Beastmaster we've seen up to this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, a lot of the Beastmasters have had really great starts this tournament.
Usually sitting towards the top of the net worth, top of the CS. But in this situation here, he's 5-2. Is this a game where we could see Drow make rotations early on?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because you're playing against like this less Chen. Like, I think the EHOME want to be the one setting the tempo rather than the Drow being the one doing it. Like, she can if she gets like this early rotation towards the bot lane with like a Night Stalker nighttime gank maybe potentially and take a tier 1. But I think if you do that, they just do exactly the same on EHOME and they take your top tier 1 instead.
Yeah. Erica, 37-15. Obviously, the Lifestealer doing just about the same in terms of CS, but it's been good in terms of CS, good in terms of harassment as well. Like, Night Stalker's still farming well bottom, despite the fact that SCCC is having a good lane, whereas Chalice isn't farming well in the off lane.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, X Nova's doing okay though. Like, he's on his way towards that mech already. Has the buckler, has the headdress, 400 gold.
OW. He is in a lot of trouble. 2-in stun, is it gonna be enough? No, telekinesis, he's right there under XM's hoofs. And they'll get the kill.
Yeah, well played by XM to get the purge off before the LSA came out. So, like, even though leader lands the stuns, you just can't run away.
11 just 1v1ing against SCCC.
He thinks you wanted that.
Yeah, Night Stalker can't really... This is what we're saying, the Night Stalker can't really pressure the Lifestealer the same way.
Go for Ori again. They're putting the pressure on. Here comes PYW. If SCCC dies here, that would be massive.
Thank you.
And just gets that rage off, but I believe the LSA was short regardless.
Yeah, he knows what's up. That's fine. I would have liked to have seen the phase use on the Lifestealer first.
Over mid though, Tornado, Cold Snap with the EMP on the XM. They bring over Erica. Wow, that's quite the commitment.
Yeah, they want to defend their mid tier 1 against the catapult wave though. That makes sense. But somebody needs to defend this top tier 1 now, because even though Beastmaster hasn't had a good time, he still pushes really quickly with the aura.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
A lot closer so far than it was in the first game, and there's the Tornado EMP once again on the XM. They'll use that Diabolic Edict, they'll glyph up. They're bringing X Nova around. They should be able to get the kill onto Ori. They'll land the stuns and take him out for the second time.
Is under attack.
Oh, X Nova though.
Well, he's gonna get chased down by old 11. The decay, they get the kill. They'll end up trading, but still they're losing the Invoker. That's not what they want at all.
True, at the same
Chalice?
top lane though, at the same time, yeah. He wants
Primal
to turn
Roar.
though with the Raw. But, Drow's a difficult kill. Also, they're doing a really good job on EHOME with these supports of playing around the mid lane, like you said, and not giving the lifestealer any help. Just like let him do his thing, and just focus on this mid lane really hard. Because if you win one fight, Lesh only has 2 points in Edict. Unfortunately, it was 1 before at the time when they were hitting the tower. If they do win a fight, they can take this tower really quickly, which is why you see VICI responding though, because they want to keep their tower alive as long as possible.
Arcane Ring for this Drow. See if he gives that up. Probably not.
And here's the link that we talked about between the 2-3-5 on EHOME. It's the Lesh, the Beastmaster, and the Chen, and they can play tempo really well early on.
Yeah, and they're going to try to. The Tombstone comes down, the rotations are out. They've got the Tornado as well as the EMP on the Chalice, who uses the Primal Roar. I don't know about that one. Chalice looks over at the Tombstone, but he's not going to be able to get it. Erica in trouble, getting run down. Can they get the kill? Ooh, survives. Illusions, though. Erica? Oh my god.
Well, the lifestealers here as well.
A lot of commitment for this top tier one. Cold Snap, XM getting chased. Now they've got the Infest. Telekinesis is a bad spot for him to be in, but the Tornado as well as the EMP that's on an XM who no longer has mana. So popping out of the Infest, they'll defend this tower. And Erica is going to go towards bottom while all this is happening, while they're trying to get this tier 1 tower. Eventually they're going to break through and get this. Question is, how much do they give up trying to defend? Is they'll find Ori. They've got the Stomp coming out from the Centaur. They get the kill onto the Invoker. As Triple C gets credit for that one, and EHOME looking a lot better so far this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, they look really good. I do like the VICI just, like, they're trying to defend all their towers that they can, right? But this Invoker's starting to suffer now. He's really falling behind. And yes, you're playing Quest Sex Invoker. He's going to go minus to try and catch up, but it's now daytime, and you don't have Dark Ascension for 90 seconds. If I'm EHOME here, I'm running at them still. Like, this is prime time. They just keep forcing these early fights around the Lesh and the Chen. You've got something coming out in the courier for the Chen. No, he doesn't have mech quite yet. Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Fortify. Try to keep the mid tier 1 alive, but again, pressure coming out onto the tower. Look at the deny, and there's another tower for EHOME. Top and mid gone.
And you have to remember, they still have Hand of God as well. Oh no, they don't. Chen's not level 6 yet. I was going to say, well, when they do, like they're having damage output problems at the moment on VICI anyway, but when they're going to be against this like mech and Hand of God that comes out at roughly the same time, this double heal might be too much for them to deal with.
What's the build that they should be thinking of on these heroes to really deal with this?
Well, Invoker needs more levels, that's the main thing. Like, he's only just about to hit level 8, and Lesh is about to hit level 9. But,
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's more of a hero thing than like an item build thing, though. Night Stalker's getting chased a little bit through the trees.
He's getting bullied, but he's fine.
At
least for now.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Right, mech's finished, though, on the Chen. This is a big timing, I think, for EHOME, if they can make the most of this.
Erica grabbing the 2-1 tower bottom.
Oh my god. Vlad's yours is about to be finished. Mech online. Lifestealer has armlet.
Thinking about going mid and going for Ori once again. He's forced to retreat. And they retreat, but it's almost into the hands of X-Nova. This is, again, much better for EHOME this game. Question is, can they sustain it all the way through to the end?
Yeah. Oh,
Beastmaster caught. And there's the Laguna Blade. They get the kill on a Chalice. They'll take him out. Tornado hits, and X-Nova forced back. That is a significant kill in terms of the team fight. Stun. Completely missing. Old 11 jumping forward, looking for Fade. They've got the Soul Rave. Now Ori getting chased by XM, taking a lot of damage, and he's just dead. He gets blown up in this situation. They're going to take out old 11.
Oh,
the
the
right
lash.
click's coming through on the Lestrak. Can Erica get out the damage that he needs to get this kill? And one more shot will do it. Now they look over at SCCC. Primal Roar
His
onto the
tombstone.
Lina, and Chalice, he's slowed up. The Tombstone still surviving. Chalice getting run down. He's going to fall. Erica with the triple kill goes after Fade. Needs one more shot. DY will swipe it. And SCCC, I don't know if he really wants to fight here.
What a tombstone though by DY. Like he goes completely untouched the whole fight. They tried to kill it like right towards the end, but he soul rip heals it, and it just keeps it alive even longer. They've won that fight with a Midas on their Night Stalker and the Invoker that hasn't built a Midas yet. Like as soon as that Beastmaster dies, they lose a key like component of their team fight with like not just the aura but the Vlads as well. And because this tombstone goes down, they don't deal with it. The zombies just absolutely tear them to shreds. I dread to think how much work the Undying did that fight. Not just with the tombstone, but the flesh golem damage amp as well. And Drow's able to just like sit in the backline and just get all her damage off constantly with this Dragon Lance giving her the range now.
Drow almost got caught out in that situation, but stayed alive, backing up. Because that could have been a completely different fight, that's for sure.
Yeah. Something I want to touch on though is something you mentioned just before that EHOME were doing really well. But we've talked about this, their lineup is supposed to be doing well at this point in the game. Like if they're not winning at this point, they would be in a big mess. So they're going to get this Roche here, which is fantastic for them. But they need to use it well. Like, it's no point having this timing kind of lineup if you don't play the timing well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That fight, Drow's sitting top of the net worth, so we'll see what Erica can do with the side of VICI. And again, a little uncharacteristic of Ori, but we've seen a bit of struggles from him recently. He is very far behind in terms of net worth. He's behind the Beastmaster, who had no lane, basically.
Yeah, but he didn't have a lane either. There were like two supports just sitting in his lane the whole time with the Chen and the Rubik. Like they put a lot of pressure on him early on. So yeah, he's not having fun, but considering how his lane went, like I think that's to be expected. When he gets Midas, he'll start, like he has it now, he'll start to catch up a little bit.
Can't get this tier 1 tower. Gonna be tough.
Not gonna be able to
Tornado
finish
in.
it.
Multi-shot, Primal Roar pushes Erica down to the low ground. Old 11 now needs to try and run. Net, 4 staff. Old 11, he goes down. Tombstone ends up dying, and DY, he's gonna fall too.
Well played by EHOME. They understand how much stronger they are right now in team fights and things. That roar though on the Night Stalker, it was actually the best thing that could have happened to the Drow because of the pushback. She got pushed down to the low ground, and then she could force staff herself up to the other high ground on the other side. So I think they could have been able to kill the Drow there potentially, but getting the Night Stalker, massive kill as well, wins them the team fight, and they can look for more. And they're gonna keep going.
Go up on the high ground, wow.
There's no glyph on Dire. Oh, there is one in a few seconds actually. Okay.
Only a 2k lead up to this point, though.
Oh god, Essence Ringlish.
SCCC getting out of that situation. Had he gotten caught there, that could have been massive for them. But they're staying nearby on the side of EHOME. They don't want to really give up the pressure. If they catch VICI coming out a little bit too far, they get a couple of kills and they start to just take the high ground. VICI's struggling at this point. And it's only a 2k lead, but it definitely feels like a struggle.
It's just because the Radiant side that all their net worth is in items that help them fight now. Whereas VICI, it's like they have double Midas. They know that they can't win this game like right in this moment. They can't win fights right at this point. So they're just looking to scale more. They're going towards that late game. They do have a really strong lineup. They effectively have 3 cores, with the Night Stalker becoming like a good right clicker.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's
We'll take a
bottom
2-1
tower
bottom.
has fallen.
And they'll look for more.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Like,
Nobody's-
Dexter coming out.
Stopping them just yet, but I say that tornado comes in. Now let's say that's gonna hit on a raged life stealer.
Good
Good
tombstone as well.
tombstone. Fade, he's gonna fall. Get themselves one. The question is, can they get more? Do they have the ability to chase? They're trying to get down onto this XM with Shrek. There's the net. Old 11 continuing
They
to
see
move
X-Nova.
forward, and they spot X-Nova. Chalice is the primal roar. They've got themselves the Infest. There's the Laguna Blade, and the damage on XM. He gets low very quickly. As you can see, trying to move in, but there's the Essence Ring. XM, the Tornado. Got the silence
Great
onto the
gust.
Lifestealer. He's in a lot of trouble. The damage is there. They get the kill on the Lifestealer. They take the Aegis out of the hands of XM. And now they'll look over as they should be able to finish him off for a second time. They've got the Ice Wall right on top of him. There's the LSA hitting and the right-click damage coming in from Erica. A very, very big fight for VICI.
Yeah, they need to find a way of getting onto this Drow in the fights. Because at the moment, what's happening is Tombstone goes down, and when DY's in this Flesh Golem, he's amping up the damage of this Drow Ranger so much, and she's just clicking them down and, like, taking them absolutely to town. But I think the fact your Rubik dies first right at the start of that fight, like, it already starts off badly. You're effectively making it 4 versus 5, right?
Yeah.
And then the Chen dies straight away afterwards, and it's like, oh, we've lost our our support duo that, the most squishy. And yes, our Lesh deals damage, yes, our Lifestealer deals damage, but these really good gusts from Erica, combined with the fact that they can't get on top of the Drow, is causing them big issues.
So the game sits now even
Money to burn.
in kills and net worth. And cost for both teams.
But like, look at the net worth of the Lesh. And like what we've seen from Leshes in this tournament is that they like farm really quickly and everything, but because of the tempo that EHOME have been playing, they've been grouping up a lot and trying to push towers, which means the Lesh hasn't had as much time farming and things. So like XM's just a little bit behind where he wants to be right now.
Dire are scanning.
What does Erica have? Going Yasha. As the Hurricane Pike, is he foregoing the Manta that he wanted to get? Looks like it, right?
Like on Drow, sorry, do you mean? Or no, Lifestealer?
No, on Drow.
On Drow. Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
BKB's
he's-
better though against the Lesh. Like Manta's still really good on that hero in general, but I think this game specifically, the BKB's really good. Especially when EHOME, like if they don't win early, they're probably going to really struggle to win the game.
There they go. Drow's actually in a pretty bad
Soul
spot. They've got the
LSA.
Primal Roar. Can they get the kill onto Erica? Low chase, the pendants is there, and Erica should fall. This is the first time in a while they've been able to really take an advantageous fight for EHOME, getting Erica for the first time.
They win the fight just outside the Dire base as well. Fate's stolen a level 3 Gust on the Rubik, which is going to be insanely good. This is like the best place they could have won a fight on EHOME.
Tornado coming in.
Dire's middle
Meteor.
tower has fallen.
There's the Gust. Old 11 just getting ripped apart.
Like without the Drow's damage, it's impossible for them to defend this. They can't deal with it. And EHOME, they're going to look for more.
Middle barracks are under attack.
I mean, the
would
Night Stalk
be-
is dead, so it's still 4 versus 5.
Yeah, but it'd be pretty greedy for them to do so.
Right, Roche is coming up soon, I guess.
Dire's
Big
bottom
fight though
tower
for
is under
EHOME, up
attack.
5k now. After that game, it sat even, or the game had sat even once they were at 10 each.
Definitely not out of it though on VICI.
No, not at all.
Invoker's just finished Solar Crest, so that armor's going to help a lot. But that's the thing. If EHOME win like one fight just outside the VICI base, they just take racks because they push so quickly. Whereas VICI, it's kind of like, yeah, we're keeping ourselves in the game, but they've not looked anywhere near like winning yet. They just have to keep scaling. Like, get there with these Midas that they have.
They're going Lincolns on the Invoker.
Interesting. I mean, they are against Primal Roar and like Lift and things, so it's not awful. Night Stalker's gone Lotus Orb as well, which I actually really like. I think that's a great item choice.
Smoked up, X-Nova, Tornado.
Big pick up if they get
Stun, and can they get this kill? They should have the damage. They're chasing. Hand of God still dies. Thought he might have found the distance.
Big pick up as well with Roach
more.
spawning soon. That's stolen NSA. The stun lasts so long.
Do they need to really chase for more?
Well, they needed to try. Like, they have numbers advantage, right? If the Roach was up here, this would be perfect. But it's a long spawn. I think it's like almost 3 minutes. Pretty much max. It is max, actually. It's like 3 minutes, yeah. Jesus.
There's the smoke from EHOME.
They know there's no Dark Ascension, so just run at them again.
Yeah, on cooldown for another 78 seconds.
Lesh has an Arcane Rune for about half the duration still.
Going to be very important to see Erica's positioning. They've got the 4-staff as well as the telekinesis out onto the Lina. Lift him up into the air. Soul Rip trying to keep him alive. 4-staff back, stays alive for a little bit longer. Now they've got the Tornado as well as the EMP coming through to XM. Old 11 taking a lot of damage. The bounty spawning on the 25-minute mark. Will anybody grab it towards the team fight? It doesn't look likely. The Gust hits on the 3. Damage out onto the Lifestealer is not going to be enough. They get the kill on Old 11. The Laguna Blade's going to be thrown forward. Can they get the kill on Astral C? No, he's able to get the Rage off. They've got the Primal Roar that hits onto the Drow. And now he's in trouble. Telekinesis lifted up into the air and they kill him off for the second time. Erica ends up dead. And now VICI feeling like they're on their last legs in this game.
Wow. That fight
kill
was so
for
split. They almost killed the Lesh on VICI, like, what, on so many occasions, but the Drow couldn't get to the same point where the rest of our team was to hit the Lesh, so Drow was fighting like a different battle at the same time. Lesh just survives because of this massive sustain they have with the Chen. Like Hand of God, it's Greaves now as well, so
Dire's top tower is under attack.
really well played by him. There's so many buybacks as well, now Ori's in trouble.
Now Ori's not in trouble, he's dead.
Great game by EHOME. They played this tempo really well. They took that one really bad fight, but they just grouped up again. They found the Drow in the bot jungle. They take a set of rats, and then after that, it's, you know, all downhill from VICI.
Yeah.
I love how much like priority they put on taking the Tombstone as well in the second half of this game. Like the first half of this game, the only times they struggled was when there were good Tombstones that went down, and DY really struggled to find like these openings in fights where he could put them down and it wouldn't be destroyed. They just prioritized it really well, and especially with the Beastmaster Aura, it does die quickly. Great game by EHOME, though.
Yeah, that's what we were expecting from EHOME, though. Like, they fell